Today we're going to be reviewing the new 9.2-inch high-definition rearview mirror replacement system. The system is fitted with a 1080p digital video recording device, and the cameras themselves are also 1080p digital, which has seemed to become the new desire in the automotive technology world today. High definition not only gives you a much better picture, but the amount of information that you can see and utilize can provide crucial information, say license plate numbers or certain incidences, if you're using the DVR for safety purposes. But otherwise, it's just great to have a really nice and sharp picture. This is one of the mirrors outside of the box already. What I wanted to show you was the cosmetic aspect of it. If you take a look at it, one of the things I like about this right away is the mirror itself. It's got close enough to the edge for the glass, but not so close that you worry about chipping or damaging it in the event of shipping or sending it to someone. So I really like that. Also, the system itself, I noticed right away, has an SD card fitted right on the top slot. This is for the purpose of course, storing your recorded video files. On the back, we see right away there is a forward-facing camera. Now, the nice thing about this kit is it is fitted with two cameras. One of them is this camera here, and then the secondary camera. Now, the secondary camera serves an additional new type of technology for the 2019 and 2020 market, and that is obstruction elimination. That means the camera has the ability to turn this rearview mirror into a virtual streaming mirror, which is really nice. So if you have a vehicle or a situation where you have balloons in your back seat or very tall passengers or just a ton of objects back there that really renders your rearview mirror useless, what this company has done with the system is the secondary camera will give you the ability to not only position the camera at the rear of the vehicle, but to stream that video footage directly to here, essentially eliminating your rearview mirror's standard basic function. I thought that was a really nice feature, and I'm going to demonstrate that in the next video that details how to use the system. Right away, I also noticed that there is a button on the bottom of the mirror. This button does operate three functions of the rearview mirror itself. Function one is, of course, pushing the button, and what that will do is that will shut the virtual display down and leave only the digital date and time on the right side of the mirror. If you push the button again, it will completely shut down the mirror altogether and turn it into a standard reflective rearview mirror. Push the button again, and of course it will bring the system completely live. They have also provided the ability to interchange mounts on the back of the mirror. Now, for those of us that perform installations or are very familiar with vehicle setups, we know that there are multiple mounts necessary to be able to have different applications. Hondas are different than Fords, which are different than General Motors and Toyotas, etc. So this company produced multiple mounts to give you the option to utilize this for different applications and have a perfect fit every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and put this mirror off to the side, and we're going to proceed to open up the package. And I did notice right away when I opened this up originally that there was a note here with a step-by-step instruction on how to format the SD card. Now, since the unit does have a DVR device built into it, like I showed you earlier on top, it's important to format that SD card and understand how that works. If an SD card is not set up properly, then the device won't record. The nice thing about this system, though, and what the manufacturer has done, is that they've provided the formatting capability built right into the system. So you actually don't have to take it to a computer and know which button to click or which file to load or anything of that nature. The system actually does it for you, and it describes it here on the instructions, but also I will show you in the next video talking about the details and the setup and usage of the system. So we're going to go ahead and move into it deeper. Obviously, they have the mirror in a really nice box. I like this. Of course, I also like this screen protector on it. Some manufacturers don't do this. I think it's definitely a nice touch. We want to keep this looking as nice as possible. Again, I really like the edging on the mirror. As you can see, it gets close enough to the edge to where it's almost full glass, but not so close that I worry about chipping or damaging. There have been quite a few reported incidences of people chipping the edges of their rearview mirrors for some of these infinity edge mirrors that are on the market. So I like the path that they went with this. Now in this particular case, you see that the mount is not added, and that's because the manufacturer wants to give you the option to choose the mount you want to use. So you do get a mount included with the system, and I'm going to go ahead and move past that, open up the contents and show you. Here's the mount that they include with the mounting screws. Of course, this is your traditional universal mount that you saw, pre-attached to the mirror here. A very basic connection with multiple options to, of course, change it and put a different one on. Also, the camera itself. Now, this is the 1080p obstruction elimination or virtual streaming camera. And the nice thing about this camera is it is waterproof certified, so that's important. You can put it inside or outside the vehicle. Number two, fairly small in size, not too large. They also put a quick disconnect on the camera cable here, which I like as well. So in the event you have a location you want to put, maybe for just disconnecting later, you get a fair amount of slack with a quick disconnect that you can take and disconnect if you have to. Here is the extension camera cable that's included, and with the cable you're going to notice right away that there's a red wire coming off of this pigtail, and that's because this camera, like I said, serves two functions. The function of this camera is not only a reverse camera, and when you put it in reverse and this red wire sees a reverse trigger, then parking lines pop up on the display, which are really nice to have. But not only do they pop up on the display, but you have the ability to adjust them and move them around on the display too, really refining your user experience. I will also demonstrate that in the user video next. So this camera extension, with the total length of cables, you get about 19 feet. Now I have spoken with the manufacturer, and they did state that they do offer an extension cable for this to take it up to an additional 16 feet, which is nice. So if you're doing it on commercial vehicles or much longer vehicles, you do have the option to utilize it. Moving into it further, this is a GPS antenna, which I thought was really nice to have. Now, having a digital video recording device is nice, but if it could tell me exactly where I was recording these files, that would be an added bonus, and this company has put that feature in this system, hence the reason for the GPS antenna. Once the antenna is connected and mounted to a visible area visible to the sky, outside of the vehicle, wherever's convenient but also functional, it will store that geolocation for that recorded video file. With their proprietary user interface that you would download to your computer, you'll have the option to review the video files, save them, and it will also show you the geotagging of where the video file had taken place. This is the main harness for the system. Now, I'm not going to unfurl this harness because it's fairly long and kind of spaghetti-ish, as with most of them are. But it does look to be fairly easy to install. This is the quick disconnect for the mirror connector that essentially plugs right here. They also provided some mini ATC fuses preloaded, as well as a spade connector ground. I really like that. If you're a do-it-yourselfer and this is something that you want to connect to your car, it does give you an easy access to, or an easy installation to do it. You've got your yellow for your constant, red for your accessory trigger, and your black wire. But of course, many of us being professional installers and not utilizing these types of techniques will simply just cut them off and make our own hard connections that we feel comfortable with. That is absolutely okay to do with this as well. Although these are fused, many installers fuse things themselves or find a connection point that has enough current to be able to sustain the system to operate properly. There's also another quick disconnect here, and this is for the camera extension cable that I showed you previously, and this is your GPS antenna connection. So obviously everything is provided on this main harness right here. Moving deeper into the system, I noticed the SD card. Now this is an important thing to understand. SD cards for this system, the formatting is necessary in order to make them work, and like I said before, The system provides the formatting function for you, so you don't have to be a computer guru to try and figure it out. But using the right SD card is imperative. Now, of course, this manufacturer did provide the correct SD card, but in the event you want to provide your own, or maybe you want to have multiples, it is very important to understand what SD cards work and which ones don't. And in this particular case, the manufacturer was very set on letting me know that it needed to be what they call a C10 SD card. So it has to be a class 10 SD card. There are much cheaper SD cards on the market, which are class 1s and class 2s. And even though they have a great capacity, that classification number has to do with speed. It has to do with just compatibility overall, and using the wrong one can render this system not functional. So it's important to know that. Now, they gave us a 32 gigabyte SD card, and it's included with every kit, but they did stipulate that you do have the option to upgrade it to a 64 gigabyte card, which they do sell for a couple more bucks, which I thought was really cool. Of course, you have the user manual. And the user manual is fully detailed, gives you just a brief overlay on installations, of course, different functions of the on-screen display and how you operate them, what the video files inside look like. Very detailed user manual. I like this. It seems to give quite a large amount of information.